Why not? We're
Okay,
here.
I had plenty of experience being around Jess. Just hit go and we'll just know to be ready.
Like, just go. Like, once the conversation starts going, just go ahead and just start and ease into it.
Pretty much. Hello, everybody, and finally, welcome back to the second half of Jarred Season 6.
Except that we are not jarred tonight. We are rad.
We are rad again.
We're odd.
Jess is currently sliding down a water slide right now.
Bless her heart. Happy birthday, Steve.
Happy birthday, Steve. Oh.
And this is our first, actual jarred episode back since Ryan has surprised all of us.
Completely threw everything to shit.
Yeah.
And pissed on all of our culture.
So I messed up a lot of this shit coming up to the trip, okay? Bearing in mind it was kept a secret from half of y'all, which means we couldn't really plan anything in properly because the surprise was we knew it was going to be worth it. Then when I finally got there, like you say, I pissed on your entire culture by doing things wrong all the time.
The entire time. Probably the only thing that I ever saw you do right, directly in front of me, was take shots, and you actually ate, most of your meal at Texas Roadhouse, and that was, you ate a lot of meat.
Yeah, I am still staggered of how much I ate at Texas Roadhouse. Just for viewer context, bearing in mind, okay? Before I went to the States, I was told by somebody that I was serving at work who lived in Virginia. She said, don't order appetizers, don't order starters. Like here in the UK, it's a thing you do because the portions are smaller. But over there, your appetizer for you here is a main because the portions are that large. I was like, okay, thanks for the heads up.
No, they aren't.
Get to America, completely forget what she told me. Get to Texas Roadhouse, and I'm looking at the menu, I'm like, oh, tater skins. We don't have those here. I want to try some of those. And then the mozzarella sticks and everything else. So, I have a portion of tater skins, a portion of mozzarella sticks, and then, what was it, deep fried pickle? Was the number that I tried? Yes. Not a fan of that, I'm sorry. Right.
Well, fuck you, you're wrong.
I ate the tater skins, I ate the mozzarella sticks. And then for my main, I ordered a portion of Cajun fries. I then had an 8-ounce steak.
Mm-hmm.
A slab of barbecue chicken breast, which was bigger than the steak, and then I ordered a side of 8-ounce barbecue ribs, and then another side kicker of another portion of Cajun fries. Whole lot cleaned up.
That's the entire trip I've ever seen him eat, but I do need to expose you really quick.
Oh,
I know that it was said in the last episode, but I just don't feel like I got my conviction quite enough through at the fact that you thought Taco Bell quesadillas were spicy. Sir, I didn't hit you with an ounce of Diablo sauce. You understand that, right? I could have fucked up
do understand
your whole gastrointestinal track. I could have fucked you up if I wanted to.
Here's the thing. I've been thinking about this ever since, okay? I don't know what was spicy. That's what's annoying me. Because the thing is, I took a bite out of yours, and then immediately I took a bite out of Jess's. But I was still almost processing yours out whilst taking a bite out of Jess's. So I don't know what was spicy. All I know is for a brief moment there was a bit of spice kick in my upper chest, and I was like, "Whoa!" He caught me off, but I don't know what it was. And my immediate reaction was just to go almost over the top and go, "Why is it spicy?" Because it just hit me out of nowhere.
Because I'll be honest with you. Normally I'll get, some sauce packets to, zhuzh my stuff up. But I purposely didn't because I was like, you know what? Ryan might want to try some of my food. And lo and behold, I was right. And
I'm leaning over in the back of the car.
Yeah, he just neck extended. He was like, can I have a bite of that? And before I could even answer, his mouth was just on it. It's fine. I don't care. But I purposely, I was like, I'm not going to get any hot sauces like I normally do because poor Ryan's little British belly. And then he had the nerve to say that a plain quesadilla was spicy. Like, what the actual fuck is the point of sauce packets then?
Was there peppers in it or something? Like, I don't know.
No!
But then I don't know.
It is, okay, look, okay. Well, I mean, I guess kind of technically what it is, like what I had, mind you, Jess had the same thing, only she had steak.
Yeah.
It's like chicken, cheese, like the light jalapeno, like mayo type sauce. And then they just press it together, grill it, and give it to you.
The only thing I can put it down to was the jalapeno mayo. That's all I could put, because it wasn't a strong spice. It wasn't like the spiciest thing I've ever had. Hell, I'll eat Carolina Reaper just for fun.
And that is not how you acted. Let's just correct that information.
No, it was not how I reacted. It was very strong. Bearing in mind, I'd already had quite a few pre-drinks, so I was already feeling a little bit buzzed.
Whatever.
But yes, I did. Yeah, I did do a lot of things wrong in this state. Okay, and I got a lot of abuse from everybody, as always, and I deserve it. I mean, Mike's finally taught me how to eat chicken wings properly. I know that quesadillas are not spicy. I'm hungry now.
You actually understand what seasonings are?
Yes.
Which I had meant to, and I don't know why, but it completely lost my mind. If I come across some, anytime soon when I go to the grocery store, the Bojangle seasoning that was on the Cajun fries that you had that you like so much.
Yes.
They actually do sell that seasoning. So if I come across it, I will purchase it. I will send it to you as discreetly as I possibly can. I promise. Because I had thought about that before you left, and then for whatever reason, my brain said, "Oh, forget this entire idea."
It was so fucking good. Bojangles. It was the first fast food I had out there. It was when Jess and I went to Morrow Mountain. We went to Albemarle, I think it was. I think I pronounced that. Have I pronounced that right? Albemarle.
Albemarle.
I nearly got it. The first fast food chain I went to was Bojangles,
I'm also
and
very
then
southern.
on the way home, take me to the airport. We had Bojangles again one last time. It was so good. KFC can suck it. Although now that I'm back in the UK, I only have KFC.
No, honey, that was it. You pass. You can come back. You can come back. I take back everything we said. You can come back.
Yes.
Oh, Jesus.
But anyway, we could go on about the fucking trip forever. Guys, if you've not already seen it, there is last month's bonus episode. Actually, still technically this month's. Is all about the trip that I had to America. Go check it out. It's a free bonus episode for everybody. For patrons, for non-patrons, everybody, the whole thing, because we couldn't exactly keep something like that just exclusive for patrons. Like, we're not going to keep that just for one's like div group. Go check it out. It's just got all the video compilations of everything that happened. It's got like 15 minutes of our recording at the beginning as well. It's just it's a laugh.
And if you do want to see some of our extra Patreon stuff, because I promise you, Mike does amazing work with these Patreon episodes since he's become executive producer on them. And it's phenomenal, the content that we're putting out when it comes to those special episodes. I mean, he goes above and beyond. So consider becoming a Patreon. That way we can make more trips like this possible and finally get Dougie here so I can actually go into a full-blown heart attack, because
I was gonna say it's Dougie's turn next.
Ryan only put me through a panic attack. Like, I know Dougie would kill me.
Oh, you'd need an ambulance on standby.
I'm okay with the idea of him just stepping on me, really. I don't care. I just want to see him. I love you.
I'll rock up with the paramedics with me.
Honestly, you're gonna need them. I mean, fucking hell. I generally thought after the cameras turned off and you were still shaking, Amber, I thought, shit, like, she's actually
dude,
broken.
I was worried about myself too. Like, thank God I had my inhaler, because my entire body was shaking. I don't ever remember a time in my life being that overwhelmed than in that moment, honestly.
And the only my true anxiety was when I was hiding behind the laundry room door. How you were shaking after you'd seen me was how I was shaking before I came out. Like, honestly,
I have
went
a
for the
question.
door.
Could you hear any of us specifically?
So when I was in the garage waiting, at one point when Charles come through and we were having a bit of a chat, just taking a bit of time, I suddenly heard your voice and I was like, oh, that's messed up. Like she's right, she's literally right in there. And then Jess come through as well, and then I could hear Sarah laughing or shouting or something. And I was like, well, there's Sarah. And then, she's got that distinct yell across the room, and I'm just like, oh, she's here. And then when I was waiting in the laundry room, obviously I had my ear pressed right up against the door, obviously to listen out for Jess's cue and on my signal. And then I went to reach for the door handle at one point and saw my hand, and I was like that. I was like, what the fuck's I was just gone. And I could hear everything at that point. Yeah. I was just like, literally, I'm going to walk through that door and they're going to be right there. Yeah. So no, I could. It was so bizarre.
Just don't ever do shit to me like that again, because
I have no intention of doing that shit again. Do you know how hard it was to keep it quiet for so fucking long?
Oh my god. Like, one, obviously I would like to plan more ahead, that way I can make sure I have off work and things, and that I don't have whatever going on. Like, I want to plan very much accordingly to you, especially if the next time that you come is going to be a short period. Dougie, this goes for you too. And I just want to, but yeah, no, I agree that the surprise was totally worth it. I'll be honest with you. Sometimes when I get like in my feelings and I'm like, oh, I really miss Ryan, I go back and watch the video and then I'm fine again, kind of, but still.
I'll admit, I mean, it's obvious. I mean, that coming from you is to be expected. But when I was watching the video back, when I was editing the bonus episode, I was watching obviously bit by bit. I was trying to cut it down, and obviously because I spent more time watching it and like analyzing everybody's faces, I admit it took me longer to edit because I couldn't. I genuinely couldn't. I sat here and I was fucking sobbing, and I was like, "Oh, for fuck's sake, get a grip, man! Like you've done it, you've seen them, you know what it's like. Get on with it." And I was still trying to do it, and then the clip. I mean, the best clip overall has got to be Hannah's reaction.
Dude, Hannah's reaction was everything. Shout out to Hannah Davis, which that was recorded on my phone, and I remember like giving my phone to Patrice, and I was like, you got to try and get the reaction because I can't 007 this. And then we're like just trying to be as casual as possible before Hannah walks in. And then Hannah walks in. She greets, I think it was like Jess first, then
Jess
Sarah.
runs up to her first, and then she goes over to Sarah. And Sarah compliments her shirt. And then I'm like, well, here's my chance before she starts looking around. So I just chop. I'm like, yeah, no, I'd rock that. And she goes to say that, oh yeah, and then she does the double, triple, quadruple fucking
she was
take.
doing like her normal polite thing, which was like, oh yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah.
But then she finally got a good look at your face and was like, wait a minute.
And she even said afterwards, she was like, my first thought was, that looks like Ryan. That's because it is Ryan. But when I was watching it back in the edit, like I obviously because when they're watching it, everyone's watching Hannah. I watched Sarah at one point when I was watching it back again, and Sarah watching Hannah was just as good. Her reaction was amazing. Watching and the whole thing, it was just. We could go on about this for a whole fucking episode. We really could.
Yeah, we really could.
We really could. But
please go watch the video, guys. It's so good. Like, especially like if you've been following and you've been with us for this long, like you really understand and grasp just like how big this moment was for us. And like honestly, that just makes me so excited for whenever I finally get my chance to wrap my arms around Dougie and then never, ever, ever let him go. And it's just, and Ryan just did such a good job on editing and putting that video together. And he really encapsulated like his entire trip. And it was just, it's been quite amazing just knowing that he's been here and that I have pictures of me and him in the same like frame.
Yeah. I got them all on my shelf above my bed right now, and I keep looking. I'm like, that's messed up. That's messed up.
That's messed up.
Anyway, next time, Dougie, it's all down to you. You got to do it next.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right
One
now.
day it'll happen.
I have to have notice ahead of time, Dougie, or else I will have just a straight out heart attack.
Anyway, we are back to our normal recording schedule after
Yes,
4
we
or
are.
5 weeks off.
A month. It's been a month.
It wasn't that long.
It's been a month.
Oh, it has. Okay.
No, it has, obviously, because
Oh, no, it has.
I was gone obviously for
Yeah.
2 weeks. We were gone for 2 episodes, and then we went to start when we came back, and that didn't get a plan. So we're back today. Still sticking with the normal routine. Amber is setting us back off again today.
Woohoo!
Amber, what have you got for us? Who have you got for us today?
I am ready to tell you boys about Thomas Lee Dillon. Does that name at all sound familiar? Because it did not to me whenever I was researching this.
I mean, the name Thomas, the name Lee, and the name Dillon ring bells, but not together.
When you put them together, though.
No, it does not ring a bell.
Oh, right. Okay. Thomas Lee Dillon was also known as the roadside sniper.
Ooh.
Described as a serial killer and arsonist who committed a string of sniper shootings across Ohio. So the one thing about Thomas that I found to be interesting is that there is not a lot of background information on him.
Right.
So I don't know if he has any extensive previous trauma or anything like that. But from what we do know about him, he was born in 1950, July of 1950. And for all intents and purposes, before he started his string of killings, he just seemed like a normal dude. He had a college education. He was married. He had children. Like, he was pretty much just your, like, average Joe Schmo.
Okay.
Yeah. With that being said, for reasons unknown, he started embarking on a trail of, like, kind of like highway shootings. Alongside Road 94. His first victim was Donald Welling, alongside the Road 94, and I hope I say this right. Tuscarawas County in Ohio.
I'm not going to try
Tuscarawas.
Yeah.
Tuscarawas? Maybe. Sure. If I am mispronouncing that in any way, please don't correct me. Okay. So he starts like this string of killings. It was by his third killing. Dillon started sending typewritten letters to local newspapers detailing the killing of his previous second victim. So he was pretty much informing them about a victim that they didn't even know about. And claiming that although he had no personal animosity towards the young men, he was just prompted by this insatiable urge to kill them.
Okay.
Now,
Yes, we all do.
that's him. Yeah. So that's him doing murder 1, 2, and 3. His fourth victim is where the FBI comes involved. His fourth victim was killed on, was it a national park? Hold on. Okay, so he was technically killed on federal property. Here's the interesting thing about as soon as the FBI gets involved, okay? So the FBI did a profile on who they thought was committing these strings of killings. So the FBI profiled Mr. Dillon as an educated white male in his 20s with a predilection for crimes such as arson and killing pets and farm animals, and lived a short distance from the crime scenes. He might be a nominal family man, but was likely a loner in life. He has had a drinking problem and a history of compulsive crimes such as vandalism, arson. Stress would be a trigger for the shootings, which usually would be committed while he was drunk. One thing about Mr. Dillon's life is that when he was younger, he did have a habit of murdering his pets. Which we all know.
Yeah, I know what you're going to say.
We all know is the token symbol for people who fall in like the serial killer / very violent criminal road. I think if I'm not mistaken, he had once neighbors had complained about a some dead pet that they hadn't like seen in a while, and it had turned out that he had.
It's the fact that somebody can turn around and hurt something as innocent with something that has not conscience, obviously, because everything, every living being has a conscience, but something that can't. Again, words are escaping me, but something that can't.
Yeah, no, and
can't really
I've
defend
always,
itself. There we go.
Yeah, no, and I've always said, I feel like children and animals like fall in the same category for me in the fact that for the most part they will love you regardless.
Yeah.
And that they completely depend on you as a source of living and being well.
Yeah. And it's always those that choose to attack those that turn out to be the fucking wackos.
Yeah, and the fact that, this guy, he had children, or at least a child. Yeah, he had a son. He had one son.
Bro.
So, okay. So I talked to you about how he was profiled by the FBI, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So after the murder on the federal property, they discovered that there's another guy who had been killed that they had actually originally kind of listed as a accidental death, because this was a guy that was like deer hunting. Okay, so the guy that was investigated his murder that they thought was accidental because of a hunting incident, they determined it to actually be a murder. That guy was Kevin Loring. And then there was another victim that was fishing whenever he was killed, and that guy's name was Gary Bradley. Right. So basically, what you're looking at is a guy who, besides his his normal life that he's got now, he's educated, he's not struggling, he's got a wife, he's got a kid, he's basically just living life, and then just automatically starts killing these people roadside or in the woods. Not only is killing them, he's meticulously shooting them twice each time.
What, is it like a double tap to be sure, or just
pretty much?
Fuck.
Okay, and these guys are just doing, while they're being killed, they're just doing leisurely activities. They're going fishing, they're going deer hunting, and they're not bothering a soul. And with that being said, before I read to you his full list of victims, I happened to pull up some of his interviews, I just want to read a few quotes because he sounds just, I don't know, just completely cold.
Okay.
So there's that. And I've also found recounts of people who have just recounted some conversations that they've had with a guy.
Right.
Okay. All right. So what I'm about to read you is a conversation between him and an investigator. And the first line I'm going to read is from the investigator. Okay?
Okay.
How far away was he from you when you shot him? He says 75 feet maybe. Where did you shoot him at? Right between the eyes. Is that where you aimed for?
Shit.
Yes. Did you walk up to him and look at him? Nope. Didn't come close. But you're sure he was dead? Yeah. His hat blew straight up about 20 feet. I knew I had to blow his whole head off. That is piece of
Bloody
one
hell.
interview.
Oh.
Okay. Here's a piece of another interview. And this is again between him and an investigator. You only shot the 2 times. There were no misses in that particular shooting. Never miss. The investigator says never miss. Never miss. So basically, you're a pretty good shot. And Dillon responds, that's why we're here, isn't it?
Oh.
Shit.
This,
Fuck.
I'm going to read one more thing from the investigator, and then I will go to the person who essentially turned him in, and I'll get there in a second.
Okay.
So the investigator says, you want to see the autopsy pictures? He says, I want to see them all. Show them all to me. The investigator says, all right. I never saw them in color. What the hell? Okay, well, we'll show you some pictures. Not the neatest job in the world, was it? And then the investigator says, the shooting? And yeah, it's not. And then Dillon interrupts him and says, no, the autopsy. Geez, dirty job, I tell you.
What the fuck?
This guy, like, seriously, as I was reading more into this, I was like, this dude's a fucking creep.
Cold, got a screw loose, does not care.
This Thomas does not fucking care.
No.
Okay, let me see if I can find the one. Okay, and I'll go over this again. So when the FBI released the profile,
Yeah.
someone actually reached out to the FBI in regards to Thomas Dillon because they were like, "Oh fuck, that sounds just like him."
Right.
Okay, so I'm gonna try and find some of his quotes about what he said. If I can find them. This document is way too long. I mean, it's not. We appreciate. By the way, I am using murderpedia.org as my resource, as well as criminalminds.fandom.com. Apparently, a couple of episodes of Criminal Minds was based on this Mr. Thomas Dillon character.
I mean, I don't want this to sound backwards, but it sounds like a pretty good character to kind of base off because of how fucked up he is.
I mean, he just, it's almost like if you didn't know anything about like his childhood with his, run-ins with animals.
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of know now that whenever children or, people like that start showing signs like that, they'll, very willingly and openly take the life of an animal. That's usually a sign that, they're down the road, they will probably more than likely evolve that into an actual human. Yeah. Of course, we know that now, but, maybe back then it's just not stuff that people really thought about, because why would they?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so this is some of the informant's quotes about Mr. Thomas Dillon. He said, I remember one time he and I were driving, and he said, do you realize you can go out into the country and find somebody and there are no witnesses? You can shoot them. There is no motive. Do you realize how easy murder would be to get away with?
Bloody hell.
I got nothing.
And then at one point, when him and the informant were having a discussion about Ted Bundy, we all know Ted Bundy. Apparently, the informant said was like, well, how could a guy just get away with something like that? And then Mr. Dillon responded to him and said, do you think I've ever killed anybody? Just very ominous like that. So, I mean, the guy was very used to making comments that were just off-putting and kind of fetishizing the idea of being a killer.
Yeah. He almost got off on the fact that he was.
Yeah. And nobody knew.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mentioned the fact that he had, started, I'm going to say in air quotes, started his killings in Ohio. Mm-hmm. There's evidence that he possibly actually started these killings in 1984 in Pennsylvania, where a man named John Joseph Harvott was shot to death. And from everything that I can tell, it's the same situation, just him on some countryside road, and he happens to be shot to death for no reason. It's a possibility that that's a murder that he had committed.
Yeah. There's
no telling. But you've got the Donald Welling killing. Donald Welling was actually shot once in the heart. The Jamie Paxton, age 21, shot 3 times with a rifle from a distance. Kevin Loring, 30, shot once in the head with a rifle from a distance. We have Claude Hawkins, 48, in 1992, shot once with a rifle from a distance. April 5th of the same year, Greg Bradley, 44, shot twice with a rifle from a distance. July 21st of the same year, 2 unnamed hunters aimed at, but they fled whenever they had seen him. And this one was one of the last people that he had attempted to murder, Larry Oliver, but he missed. And I said Oliver, Larry Aller, but he was able to escape. And let me see here. I wonder what I haven't seen anything that actually says what his sentence was, but I imagine it was like long goddamn time. Yep. If he's not already dead, doesn't seem that he appears to be. But he got sentenced to
we just lost Ryan.
Where'd Ryan go?
His Wi-Fi
He
dropped
looked
out,
asleep
I guess.
too. You there, babe?
I'm still here.
Okay. Well, I'll finish it off with you then. He was sentenced to life and with a chance of no parole for 165 years, which was his maximum sentence.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
Oh, is Ryan... There goes Ryan.
Hello.
Hi, honey. You just missed me saying, because I didn't know if you were coming back. He was sentenced to life in prison with no chance of parole for 165 years.
Ooh, he never getting out.
And it looks like I'm going to lose Ryan again.
Is he frozen for you?
Just out of curiosity, did they say what type of rifle he was using?
Oh, yeah, they actually did. Hold on. Let me find it.
Because it's just the way he's like with that headshot, he said blew the guy's hat
Okay,
so
it
high.
says...
It sounds like a decent caliber.
Okay, it says a high-powered .308 Mauser rifle.
Mauser, yep. Okay, yeah.
That sounds about right.
Yep.
Okay, I don't think that we're getting Ryan back. I know me and you both suck at closing. We will just keep our recording for right now. We are going to say thank you all for listening about the wonderful tale, not so wonderful, of Thomas Lee Dillon. If you will, consider following us on all of the socials. Jarred Podcast for the most part on everything, I think. Check out our website. Check out our Patreon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yes.
Do all of the things. Yeah. And that's it. I'm going to close it out here. All right.
Thanks
Love
for
you guys.
listening.
Bye.
Bye.